We've been seeing news articles all the time right now, and it's growing and growing, where you have these Bitcoin families that are getting targeted online. People are traveling these crazy distances to find them, and in some cases, torturing them and forcing them to give them their Bitcoin. So how do we make sure as Bitcoin families that we stay safe, and we're also making sure that we're giving our children tools to stay safe and keep the whole family unit protected? By the way, my name is Alyssa and welcome to Bitcoin Country. The biggest focus that I usually see out there is talking about how can we keep our crypto safe? How can we make sure that we are we're keeping our seed phrases safe, that we're using cold wallets, that we're not sharing out any personal details, things like that, right? But what about when you are a family and you have kids in the equation? Because kids bring in a new risk, right? So kids talk. They may talk to family members, they may talk to their friends at school, they overshare, and they're naturally curious. So in a Bitcoin household, that can unintentionally expose your privacy and security. One of the key things is to teach your kids that not everything that is in your family needs to be shared out there. So you can explain privacy to them. Just like we don't tell everybody where we live. You don't tell everybody your phone number. You don't tell everybody how much money that you have or your family has. So that's just something else. We don't tell everybody how much Bitcoin we have. And of course, it has to be framed based on whatever age your child is. So for younger kids, you could frame it like, it's our treasure. It's our family treasure, and we like to keep treasures private. And then for those that are older and would understand more, you might want to say, some people might want what others have, so we stay safe by keeping things private. So it just means that they're helping to keep what your family has earned or made protected. Another thing is, don't post photos that show anything Bitcoin related or personal, seed phrases. Really, your kids probably shouldn't even have access to this, but I think this could be an easy miss. Maybe there's a personal photo, something in your background has something related to Bitcoin, and they post it online. That could stir something, or there could be somebody out there that's like, hey, those people look like they might have Bitcoin. I think this kind of goes with everything. I know that I don't even like to post pictures of my kids on the internet, just for general privacy's sake. So this one is pretty easy for me, but it's something that I know the digital world, social media, is a huge thing for children these days, especially if they're older. And that just leads, I think, to a lot of openings. So something else is, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It is about 2 months old, and really trying to grow this Bitcoin Country community. So if you'd like to hit subscribe, I post Bitcoin content that is relatable to families weekly, having different kinds of Bitcoin things in your house. So I'll give you an example. I had a metal plate that has the Bitcoin white paper stamped into it. I had it in my living room. I thought, I don't really have anybody that comes to my house. I don't think it's a big deal. Well, I didn't think the few times that I had a contractor come over that could be something that could interest them. And I actually had somebody bring it up to me. So after that happened, I took it down. Another way is online. So that's a huge risk. And they don't even understand what they're doing. They're not thinking about it because they're children. They don't have the same reasoning as an adult, or maybe they're just not aware because no one has told them about it. They could go out there, they could say, my parents have this really cool safe, it's full of money, or we have Bitcoin at home, or, oh, hey, mom has this cool cold wallet, this is where she stores it. And I don't think it's about scaring your children either. It's just about making sure that they are aware of what is going on and how to protect your family. Something else for kids that do like online gaming and stuff like that, chats, whatever they do, not using Bitcoin related usernames, because that could create a really obvious target for somebody who could then start chatting with them that, of course, you never know the age of people that are on there anyways. I don't even let my kids onto that stuff because I just don't feel that, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't feel that it's safe. But that could just be another way to get targeted and to be just an obvious way as putting it into a username. Having these talks with your kids will help also in case anybody does ask. If you have just someone that comes and starts asking some strange or probing questions about money, about Bitcoin, about your family, anything like that, just so that they know how to respond to that. And then keeping, like I had mentioned, keeping anything Bitcoin related, whether that's wallets, papers, just anything out of reach and out of sight. Also, to be aware, I think that your kids really need to understand what Bitcoin is. It could be complicated for them. So what is Bitcoin in principle? Not how much you have or where it is, but what is it? What does it mean? What does it mean to hold Bitcoin? If they're curious about all those other things, just try to refocus them on the principles, not just the possessions of it. And I think that we do an okay job of that generally with like money. But your kids are always around you. They always hear you talk. So they may even know how much money you have. But really focusing on Bitcoin helps protect people's money from being taken away. And that's why we respect it and we keep it private. Of course, if your kids are bigger and older, they may be able to understand more, especially if they're seeing it on the news or social media. Just continue to push that security. And it's also not about flexing or bragging rights. You've got bullies out there. That's something I've talked to my daughter about. She had some issues with some bullies, yes, even in homeschool because of extracurricular activities. But I wanted to make sure she understood, don't ever use that as a way to flex anything. It's not something that we ever share, and it's nobody's business. And we also tend to be a really private family anyways. And also another thing about being online is that not everybody talking about Bitcoin online is trustworthy. There's so many scammers out there. I think that sometimes I feel like there's more scammers than there are trustworthy people online with Bitcoin. It is huge. Of course, anytime we talk about money, there's scammers involved, right? It doesn't matter what kind of money it is. I'm gonna go back to say that I think we don't need to be paranoid about anything. There's really scary news lines out there that talk about Bitcoiners getting targeted, Bitcoiners' families getting targeted. But really it comes down to being private and not sharing things. There's a lot of families that I see or that I run into, and they actually talk about all of their finances. They talk about their money, and I've always felt like that is really wild, and I've never understood that. We've always just kept a general rule of we don't tell anybody any of our personal business, and that's as simple as that. If you found this helpful, share it with another Bitcoin parent, because privacy and safety are things that we should all be talking about.